Hi, Marion Emberson here from Embossing Powders. This card consists of a white blank card base, like so, a piece of black cardstock and a piece of white cardstock. And I've cut them down in 1/4 inch increments to give ourselves little borders. And we're going to be using the White Puff Twinkle and then the new Silent Night embossing powders. We've got the Let It Snow stamp set. We're going to be using the snowflakes and the sprinkles and the little stars and one of the sentiments off of that. And then you're going to need a VersaFine Onyx Black and a Versamark ink pad. And then take a chalk ink of your choice and a bit of cut and dry foam. And this is going to create part of the background. So taking the chalk ink, I'm just going to push that onto my non-stick craft sheet. And I'm going to pick some of that up with the cut and dry foam. So I'm making the cut and dry foam act like it's an ink pad. And then I'm just going to do sort of circular motions onto the cardstock. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly covered. We're not looking for a complete coverage. If I was, I would have gone direct from the ink pad. I want it to look a little bit cloudy because that gives it a nice softer effect. You can fill in any little areas and you can just sort of soften it off at the edge as it goes down. So I'm just going to fill a little bit more in there, but I'm not making it all perfectly even. Just fill that little bit in. And then I'm just going to give it a little blast. I've sped this up with the heat tool, just so that when we put the embossing powder on, it's not actually going to stick to that, because if the ink was still wet, the embossing powder would stick to that. Now I'm going to take the sprinkles part of the stamp set and put it on the acrylic block. And then I'll take my Versamark, and I always keep the acrylic block on the table on a flat surface, and I take the ink pad to it and I just do gentle patting motions. It's not pushing down into it. It's just a gentle patting motion to transfer that ink, and then because it's sort of quite a bigger background bit, I can then just push down into this. And what I'm aiming to do here is cover the whole of the card in these sprinkles. I want to fill the whole thing up, and the sprinkles consist of little dots and little tiny stars as well. So just going to fill the whole of that background up. So ink each time that you do it, because you want to get new ink on there each time. And you can just sort of see, just as I move it, you can just see the highlight of it. And now I'm pouring the White Puff Twinkle all over, and then shake off the excess. And I'm going to put that back in the pot. Now there'll be a little bit of residue left on the paper, so when you see me disappear, that's where I'm flicking it off, so I've got nothing left on there, so I don't contaminate the next pot with a different colour. So I'm going to heat this up now, speeding it up again for you. So basically I hold the gun in one position until I see it start changing, and then I just move it around until it's all done. And then we want to make sure that it's cool for this next bit, so just have a little feel of it and make sure that it's not hot anymore, the embossing powder. And I'm going to take one of the sentiments off the set. This one's Happy Holidays, and I'm just going to use the VersaFine Onyx Black ink and then just stamp it down in that bottom corner. And you'll notice I put my fingers over the actual design when I use fonts, and this way I get a nice even pressure, and then it stamps out quite perfect. So now we're going to put some snowflakes on one side. So I'm going to use the biggest snowflake out of the set. Same thing, put the acrylic block on the table and take your Versamark ink pad to it, and then stamp it down. And each time, again, you want to ink. I'll do one just off the centre. I'm going to put 3 of these big snowflakes on. And then I'm going to put the Silent Night embossing powder over that. It's a really beautiful, like sort of gunmetal silver. It's gorgeous, lots and lots of glitter in it. So just give it a little tap, get rid of any of those little loose bits. And then we're going to put that powder away. You never want to start heating if you've got loose powder on your paper, because it will just fly everywhere. I want a little bit more to this. I don't want to leave it like that. So in the set there's some tiny little stars, a little block of 3 stars. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm just going to sort of put 5 of those on there just to fill in those little areas. So it just gives more pattern on there. And the nice thing about this is it shows you that you can actually heat emboss over the top of something that's already been embossed, and it's not going to affect it. It's going to be absolutely fine. So I've got 4 on there at the moment, and then I decided, once I looked at that, I thought, no, I want to put another one over just so that it brings the pattern over, because when you look at that now, it just looks like it's just all on one side in quite a straight line. So when you design something in your head, you can always add to it. So there we go. So I'll just put one more over there. A little bit more powder on. Give it a little tap. You just want to get rid of all those little loose bits. Try not to handle the card too much, because any moisture from your fingers is going to attract the powder. So again, I'm just going to heat set this, and you'll notice I just hold the gun in one position until I see it change, and then I'll actually start moving it around. So this time I haven't sped this bit up, just so that I can show you, so you can probably just see on camera how it starts sort of sparkling at you, and that's where it's changing. So you just go around and do all of those. Do them all in one go. And now I just want to add, oh there we go, look. It's very sparkly and pretty. I just want to add a little bit of the white puff twinkle in the centre of the snowflake. So you can take a pen, an embossing pen, and just do a dot in the centre, and it's the same ink that's in the ink pad, and then you just pour your powder on exactly where you've done that dot, and then that powder's going to stick to that. You might not notice much on camera, but it does in real life. I'm just going to heat set those. You could just see the brightness then of the white. And there we go. And now I just need to mount all this up. So I'm just going to put double-sided tape around all 4 edges. And when you use double-sided tape, it's a good idea to always make sure you burnish it down, because that makes it a lot easier. And this is the easy lift tape, but sometimes even easy lift tape can be a bit of a pain to get off. So a little trick is I go in from the edge and I rip it. So I rip the back in. So I don't know if you can just sort of see there, if I hold my thumb against it, I rip a bit, and then the other side just pulls off nice and easy. So I'll just go round and do all that. And these are lovely little cards to do in any colour background. You could just do, you know, a whole host of them, and just do like blue backgrounds, pink backgrounds, lilacs, any, you know, whatever colours you're loving this year for Christmas. So I'm just going to layer that up just so that it's even all the way round. I do just eyeball it a lot of the time. And then exactly the same thing, I'm just going to add the double-sided to the 4 sides. Peel all that off again by tearing If you give that a go, you'll find it's really, really easy. It's a very quick and simple way of doing it. And then this is going to get mounted up onto the card front. So same thing, just place it over, stick it down, and there you've got it. There's your finished card. Lovely little snowy scene, happy holidays, and that's it. Nice and quick and simple. Thanks for watching. Bye.